Hello, Aries. Welcome to Ula Tea Leaf Readings. My name is Lenor. And today I'm going to be reading your tea leaves. But first, we start with the energy of, yes, the Nine of Cups. Happy, happy, happy days. You can see the cups are being filled by the sacred dews of the lotus flower. That mana, that ambrosia, that amarit of the gods and goddesses, right? The divine, the sweet stuff of life, that which hides in the subtle. But it means everything. So we come into this energy, right? Like we're opening the door, we're walking in. Whew, here we go. I can smell it. Happy, happy, happy. Happiness coming along the way. All right, let's see. We're going to turn this thing. I want to say thank you for being here. I know I've been gone for a while. Between Saturnalia, I took a little break. We've been sick. It's been the holidays. Oh my goodness. It's been a lot, but I'm happy. I have missed doing these general readings, and I've missed you. I've missed the energy. All right, let's see what we have going on here. Now, if you want to help get this channel going again, if you look at the numbers, it's been going down a little bit. And, you know, I guess that's just the way things shake out sometimes. But if you do want to help see this channel grow, liking, subscribing, leaving a comment always helps. Any kind of engagement, sharing with other people, whatever. Also, go and check out my husband's channel, Dove and Serpent Tarot. His name is Paul. He's amazing. All right, let's see. We have the number 4. The number 4. We have... It feels the goddess in a few iterations here. So we have this divine feminine consciousness, especially right here. We also have, it looks like a horse right here. We have a little group of birds. They look to be probably, I'm guessing, chickens and maybe a goose there. We have the letter R. It looks like it maybe is RM. RM. So the horse represents movement. Okay. There seems to be a desire to leave a situation. Now, I feel that there's been a maybe onslaught of red flags, of maybe even people just straight up telling you something weird is going on here, something bad, they did this, they did that, whatever, you can't trust this part of the company, and I'm thinking this could be work, it could be a relationship, it could be, you know, some dynamic that you have in your life, maybe in a hobby, a passion, somewhere where you spend a good amount of time. Okay, this isn't just some little, you know, the coffee place lied about where they're getting their beans from type of deal, right? No. This is like fundamental. So I feel that there is a desire to get moving, to go on to the next thing. Now, I don't think that you are ready or you have prepared for this, at least. Right? This is something that is emerging in your mind that maybe you haven't thought about in a long time or ever. This might be the first go around. Okay? Now, we have that divine feminine consciousness, as I said. We also have the number 5 right next to this goddess. This tells me quite clearly that this, you know, part of self, this ability to intuit is not going to go away. It's not going to leave you alone. You are stuck with it. It's in your ear. Like a little buzz, a little noise, a little... Don't ignore that. Don't you dare. Okay? Now, this might feel unsettling. I feel that you've probably been kind of dug in on the way that you've been living life. Like, you have your system, you have your, you have your job kind of set up how you want it, the house, how you want it, you're living where you want to be. And so the idea that something so drastic would happen that you're like, man, I might need to be out on this one, it feels very serious. Okay. Now, we also have the number, it looks like 73. 73. Okay, so then we have, it looks like a person here, kind of it feels like embracing. Now, back over here, we have a person fighting a lion. And up here, we have what looks like a volcano. I almost think that we have the name Jerry, Larry, Terry, something like this. So I feel that you have found some, let's just be real. Let me just be real. Somebody in your life who you have been close with, you are finding out they have demons that they are battling that you had no idea. Like, it was not on your radar. Maybe you weren't paying attention. Maybe they've been hiding it really well. Maybe they're just good at, like, masking or even just like dealing with the thing. But now they're in a place where they're not dealing as well. Right? So I feel like there is definitely this sense of abruptly realizing, like, okay, there's a problem. This is a problem. Something's going on. They are acting weird. They're volatile. You maybe don't even feel super safe around them. What the heck is going on? What is this? What is happening? What is this, cycle that we're going through right now? So I feel you have this great, desire to be the one to, like, fix it for them, right? You want to be that, like, stabilizing force. You want to be that consistent person. And I think that that's what you do. That's what you've done. That's what you've probably always done. But I feel like in this situation, this is where you are starting to really see how deep it is. Like, this isn't I'm going to try to get my kid out of a bad mood because they, didn't get to go see the movie they wanted type of energy. This is like, okay, I'm realizing that maybe me trying to fix everything is actually putting me in the position of enabling them in some way. Now, this is where things get tricky, and I will not give advice, because it's different for each of us. And what I could say to you sitting right here, this is what I would do, doesn't always mean this is what I would actually do. Because it's easy to sit on the sideline and say, oh, why didn't they do this? Or they should do that. This is what you should do. It's not, especially when we're dealing with loved ones, friends, people we care about, and they're having some kind of mental health issue, addiction, they're lying, they're, God forbid, hurting themselves in some way or whatever, all of the sitting and posturing goes out the window. Like, sitting there saying, this is what we should do. You have no idea. You don't know what you're going to do until you're in this situation. Even when you're in this situation, half the time, you don't know what the heck to do. You're doing your best. You're doing your best. But I think that you are coming to a place where you're realizing, like, maybe I need to let them, struggle a little bit. Now, I know, again, this is hard. This is hard. Now, here's my little plug for 12-step. Let me be very, very transparent. I was in recovery for, almost a decade. I am now what they call California sober. So I'm technically not in recovery anymore, but I am somebody who benefited greatly from doing 12-step. Now, not for everybody. Not for everybody. Let me hear it or say it again. It's not for everybody. But what they do have is something called Al-Anon. Okay? This isn't AA. This isn't NA, Alcoholics Anonymous, or, whatever. Al-Anon is for people, and they also have Alateen, for people and for young people who are related to, in a relationship, live with, have been impacted by somebody with addiction. Now, they always say addiction is a family issue, right? A disease, family disease. I 100% agree. I come from a family of addiction and mental health. I always like to just put Al-Anon out there for people, because even if you're not dealing with somebody with addiction, it really is a great framework. And you can read the literature. You can read it really, really simply online. I mean, you don't have to read all the books or all the workbooks or any of that stuff. You should if you can, if you are willing. It is helpful, in my opinion. But you can get it stripped down. Just look it up on the Googles or whatever, the AIs or whatever you have. YouTube. Look it up on YouTube. But here's the deal. Sometimes we come into this realization that our help is actually hurting somebody more than it's helping them. And to get to even that point of knowing is a big step. Huge step. Now, what do we do though? That's the next big step, right? So having a plan, right? And also being kind to yourself, because you also are going to need support in a situation where you're trying to help somebody else. And sometimes, like I said, it is stepping away. And you're going to need a lot of support in making those decisions and implementing them. Okay? Doing it all by yourself, I get it. I'm the same way. I want to do it all by myself. I don't like talking poorly of people I care about. I don't like outing them for things that they're struggling with. I don't like to bring it up with people, even within the family. I am not the person that is out here telling, all of your stuff. I keep it close to chest, right? It's not always helpful though. Not that I feel like it's good to out people and get on, social media and be like, oh, this is what they did. And this is, no. I'm a firm believer in not doing that. But somewhere in the middle, right? Where there's accountability, where there's clarity. I think all of that's important. Okay. So I feel like for you, in this situation, whatever it is, if this is somebody coming to you telling you like I'm having these bad thoughts, or I've been doing this thing, or maybe you're doing their laundry, you find something in their clothes, or whatever. God forbid. Gosh, that scares me. My daughter's young still, but I think about that moment. Ugh. And it turns my stomach. Again, because I have addiction in my family profoundly, to the point where both of my parents passed away from it when I was a kid. While I was in the house. Well, one of them. My father died after I moved out. But anyways, profoundly sick people I come from. And they were lovely people in their own ways, of course. Our sicknesses, our struggles do not define who we are, but they are a part of us, aren't they? Part of our story. So I'm saying all of this with the intent to, you're not alone. You're not alone. It will feel like you are at times, probably a lot. But there are other people who are trying to help other people that they love. And you need to link up with those people. I think that talking about it is going to be the biggest thing here. Now, we have the two people embracing. We have the umbrella over top. So I do feel that there is like a time here coming up where there's almost like a settling of the storm, right? It's still happening, but there's an ease. So I do feel, and I think this is where the happiness comes in, there seems to be almost a sense of like reuniting, of the team coming back together. Things feeling like not what they once were, but what they should have always been, right? And so I feel that in this time there's going to be more of a closeness with family. And I think this is very like you're close knit, not if you're close, you might be close knit, maybe you don't even talk to each other. But I think in this next period of time, there is going to be this kind of rebirthing of closeness, coming together and being able to be with each other. That's the big thing. Now, we also have the number 82. And something with the ear. I keep saying E-A-R, ear. So we have something with your ear, maybe. Or somebody telling you something. I almost kind of feel like this is at work. There's somebody, or in like a space where usually nobody would be telling you anything or much of anything, but there almost seems like there's this sharp, like, you need to do this. You need to do this. Now, we also have the division right here. And I almost kind of feel like, now I'm looking at, I know we look at the same things and they look different every time you kind of look at it. Now we have a person, and this is the volcano before, but now it almost, I'm looking at it, it reminds me of somebody in shelter. And almost kind of a person holding a piece of paper. There is kind of this almost like temple, like, steeple over the head. So to me, it doesn't have to be that you are, a Christologist or somebody who partakes in, anything that happens in churches or temples of any kind. But there's a sense of holy shelter, of kind of sacred dominion, if you will. So I do feel like there is a place here where maybe the happiness is not pouring out like you're on, spring break. It's like 2001 spring break MTV, you're partying, maybe not like that. That sounds awful right now, obviously. Like, honestly, I have a fever. I'm very fevery right now. That sounds terrible. But I was trying to think of some Bacchanalian thing that might be relatable. It might not be the happiness and festivity that this card kind of implies, but what it is like the ember, right, of that passion, that sacredness, and it is beginning to take hold, right? The fire is beginning to burn. The sacred waters are pouring freely, and I feel like you're just coming into a place where it's like, I know all this, has been out of control. There are people in my life that are struggling. Obviously, I don't know exactly what to do, but I'm going to figure it out, right? You're coming back into this power place where it's like, maybe I've been kind of just going about the business for a while, but now I see there's something here and it's pulling me out of this kind of almost, not stagnant, but just kind of stasis, is that what stasis? Where you're just kind of suspended. Nothing's bad necessarily, nothing's really great either, but you're there, you're existing, you're good, you're thriving to some degree, right? You're alive, your operating systems are going, so yeah, you're good. But then you're jolted out of it. There's a problem here. This person I love, and maybe even more than one, is going through this thing, and I gotta be there. I gotta be the one that's going to help, because it doesn't seem like anything else is. Right? But also, it's kind of like, dude, I also have to like step back a little bit. Gosh, it sounds like you're a parent, because my gosh, it's like back and forth. Let them figure it out. So then you're also doing work on yourself, because this is hard. I'm not ready for this. I didn't train for this. They didn't teach me this in college, you know? But in this movement, in the friction of it all, the sparks begin. In not that it's like, and let me just be clear, it's not implying that in somebody's misery or problems you are thriving. No, it's awakening something in you that you have not been utilizing for a while. And that is that you're a boss. You know what to do. And you're good at it. You're good at being with people. You're good at healing. I'm sorry, but you are. You're a healer, Aries. We all know this about you. The thing is, you don't just give it away to anybody. And that's why it's so potent. That's why people want it. But they're intimidated by you too. Let's not mince any words. You are intimidating. So there seems to be there's something coming up through all of this. And this isn't necessarily with the happiness, but there is an unstuckness coming. There's going to be some kind of unpleasant truth. And we have the Lamb. And I feel that this is going to be one of those big moments in your life where how you respond, how you choose to take this information, what you do with it, is going to really impact how people you love relate to you. So be very mindful when this comes to light, because you will know it is something that's going to be very heavy. It's going to be hard, but I think it'll make things make sense a little bit more. And it's really going to be hard to hear. And let me just be honest. It's going to be a situation that you're probably going to have to take some responsibility for your own part in, or not being there, or, whatever it was. And I'm not trying to throw any kind of dirt on you or your name, but we all have these things, right? Especially when it's our kids, because, we're experiencing life much differently than they do for a number of reasons, right? Mostly that we just grew up in a different freaking world, period, right? These kids live in a different realm than we ever knew. And the way that they experience our behaviors is not the same way that we experienced our parents' behaviors. They're smart, these kids. They know what's up. You can't lie to these kids. We were just like, okay, whatever. You know, can you leave some money on the table so I can order pizza while you're gone most of my life? You know what I mean? Like, we were just we grew up different. So when people who are younger than us or people who we care about start to hold us responsible for the way that we did something or we said something or our actions, our selfishness, our, where we lack in our self-refinement, it's not easy. It's not easy to hear. But it's so important how we react to somebody telling you, you hurt me. The way that you did this was painful for me. To hear somebody say that, ooh, you want to be like, do you know what I sacrificed? You know, do you know how many jobs I worked for you? Do you know what I did? How hard I grind for you? Doesn't matter. That's not what we're talking about. This is me talking to myself. Because you know what? I have a young daughter, but she's smart. And boy, why, sometimes you're like, why did I teach them all the words so young? So now you're holding me responsible using the, therapy language to me, this little 6, well, not even 6, she's 5. I always think she's 6. She's 5. She's very, very smart. I know. She's my kid. I'm going to say it, but she is. She's so much ahead of even myself. I mean, beyond anything I can imagine that I would ever be. My daughter is that. Bet. Bet. But it's confronting. It's freaking confronting, man. But it all matters. How do we react? What do we do with this information? It's a gift. It's a gift. You know why? They are telling you what you did that hurt them, or what we did wrong, or what we didn't do, or what we neglected or ignored or whatever we're dismissive of. It's a gift because it's an opening. It's an invitation. Come. Let's do this work together. Let's create something else for ourselves to be together through this work. Even if it's painful, even if it's confronting, even if it's just not what I have the energy for right now. It's super important to be mindful when this comes to you, when it's put on your plate. Okay, let's see. 98. Our first lucky number. 98. 44. 90. All right. Well, Aries, I love you. I love you. I love you. Thank you for being here with me. It is always such a wonderful honor for me. If you want to help the channel, like, subscribe, leave a comment, share it with your friends, watch all the readings. I love you. I love you. I love you. Be brave. Before dawn, man, and we do what we must, right? Happy 2026.